20 minutes of completely useless about GTA San Andreas. Did you know the Tornado has all the properties of a fighter jet? By going into the game files, you can change its type from car to plane, and upon doing so, you'll get machine guns and missiles mounted on the car. This is something that no other vehicles in the game have the ability to do. They'll even scramble jets after you with a high wanted level. The reason for this is because Rockstar Games were planning to add a fighter jet called a Tornado to the game. Shops in-game actually close at night time, and you can see their shutters closing once the in-game timer reaches a certain period. For some reason, there's a countryside sniper rifle pickup inside the stadium of San Fierro, inaccessible to the player. There's absolutely no way you can pick it up without the use of mods. Did you know that the road signs on the highways are actually just an illusion? It turns out that the text written on them is actually a separate entity, and that allowed Rockstar Games to reuse the same prop over and over again, saving space on the game's memory. The rollerblading NPCs you can find at the beach are pretty fast, I will admit. But what you probably didn't realise is that if they go on the sand, the game actually recognises this and slows them down, and they look kinda stupid. The sunrise in the very first mission is iconic and beautiful. The reason for this is because the weather type the game has set this to is countryside sunshine, meaning this weather type can only naturally occur in the countryside. But Rockstar Games overrode that setting just for this mission, probably because it looked really cool. There's a statue in San Fierro that depicts the Rockstar Games founder, Sam Houser, the legends behind the Grand Theft Auto games. The model used is the exact same one as the ammunition Sam Houser in Vice City. This skyscraper in San Andreas is rather unique, because at the very base of this building you can find a doorway which, when entered, will teleport you to the top of the tower and spawn you with a parachute. There's a similar location to this in the desert near the Big Ear, where if you go to the base of this radio tower, the same thing occurs, teleporting you to the top with a magnificent view and a parachute. Pretty cool. The symbol found on the paramedic vans is rather questionable, to say the least. That's definitely the sign of life, I'll give them that. There's a luck stat that can be found in the game's statistics menu. However, even if you max the stat to 1000, which is the maximum possible, it literally does nothing. CJ will never win anything anymore or have any better luck, regardless of whatever this stat says. The Hot Knife is a pretty awesome vehicle, and they actually went through the effort of putting a rotary engine that is animated on the vehicle as well, which is pretty crazy detail. Did you ever notice that CJ's clothing will actually blow around in the wind? It sounds like a small detail, but it's the small details that make the game. If you get into a completely clean car, after driving around for several minutes, you will then come to the discovery that the vehicle will be covered in dirt and grime. The BMX is the strongest vehicle in the entire game, stronger than a Rhino tank. By using rockets, satchel charges, grenades, and even pure fire, nothing will stop the BMX from being rideable. The only thing that will destroy it is dumping it into the water. Considering the game gives control to CJ from the very beginning of the game, the highest percentage of game completion you can get at the very start of the game is 13.37%. This can be achieved by completing various side missions and getting all of the collectibles, so you can complete a significant amount of the game early on. There's a fat version of Big Bear found in the game files, but the skinny version of him is the only version used in the entire game. There's a billboard that says True Grime on it for a street cleaning company. This is probably Rockstar poking fun at the True Crime series. The mission Body Harvest is pretty iconic, and it's the first mission that introduces CJ to the Combine Harvester. And it was really one of those missions which made you realise that San Andreas was going to introduce a lot of really cool vehicles. But it's actually named after another Rockstar game called Body Harvest, which is pretty cool. By pressing caps lock on PC, you can actually activate or deactivate the searchlight on a police Maverick, but sadly you cannot actually control where it points. There are trash bags around the game where you can actually see flies flying around them. That's literally the fact. If you take a BMX to a pay and spray, you'll get a unique message saying, "I don't do toys." This kiosk or guard booth at the San Fierro airport has a computer with a really interesting CAD screen or some kind of game development going on there for an office. In CJ's house, in his mother's bedroom, you can find magazines with actual pre-release screenshots of San Andreas gameplay on them, which I thought was pretty cool. Fort Carson in the desert, near Tierra Rabada, has its own spin-off Vinewood sign. Next to that, there's a clucking bell, which is the only unique clucking bell of its type, because it actually closes and opens at a certain time of day. As you can see, it opens at 6 AM, and every other fast food location in the game is open 24/7. There's a drive-through confessions billboard, and underneath this you can find a kiosk similar to a fast food restaurant where you, I presume, drive up and confess your sins. Near here, there's actually a graveyard with a gravestone with the name Scott Wilson on it, who's a developer of the game who worked on San Andreas. There's an electrical post, or telephone post I guess you could call it, out here in the countryside near Blueberry. Now, using a free cam we can see that this post goes under the ground and the majority of it is actually below the surface. Well, it turns out this is exactly in the 0 point on the map, so Rockstar probably used it as a reference point to know where the middle of the map was. Driving around the map, you can see a variety of different biker models, but they all wear the same jacket and drive around the same area on the map. And it's rumored that this was going to be another gang similar to the Ballers or the Vargos, so on and so forth, but it was cut late into development. During the evening and at night time, farms are completely quiet and empty. However, as soon as the daytime rolls around, you can see the fields populated with combine harvesters and tractors and farmers busy with their jobs. If you crash into a variety of trees, they will actually shed leaves on impact. It's a pretty cool particle effect, completely unnecessary of course, and doesn't help us in any way possible, but it's cool knowing that someone actually went through the effort of adding that to the game. Up in Mulholland in the Vinewood Hills, you can find this strange piece of road, but what's unique about it is that if you go onto the pause menu and look at the map, it shows that this should connect to the main road below, but it doesn't. There are a total of 233 purchasable items of clothing across 6 separate clothing stores in San Andreas, and the totals are as follows. There's 75 torsos, 43 pants, 41 shoes, 17 glasses, 12 watches, 12 chains or pendants, and 33 hats. And that's just the clothing that's available to buy in the shops. And there's even more when you account for outfits, special outfits, and other things in the game. During the mission Tagging Up Turf, CJ needs to spray a variety of spray tags, and during one sequence, Sweet heads off and says he's gonna go and, quote, do another hood. But as it turns out, he's not doing anything. He's literally sitting in Grove Street in the passenger seat, just waiting for CJ to finish whatever he's doing instead. I don't know why they did this, but I guess Sweet needed to be somewhere in the game's memory close by, so I guess that's why. So during the mission Burning Desire, where CJ has to burn down the house and he meets Denise for the first time, there's actually a Vargo who looks like he's on the telephone, but I guess Rockstar Games forgot to add it, so he's basically talking to his gun. While using thermal goggles, they actually didn't have to add this at all, and this is crazy that this is a feature in the game. But if you shoot pedestrians, you can actually see their body temperature going cold through the thermal scope, which is crazy. You can see how the bodies go from red with the body heat, and as their body goes cold and they're losing blood and they die, well, they become more blue, which indicates cold, which is pretty crazy. During the mission Snail Trail, you're instructed to follow a train all the way to Los Santos. However, halfway there, you'll encounter this much shorter train. If you follow that back to Cranberry Station, it goes kind of off the rails and follows a phantom pathway, or a phantom route, shall we say. And you can actually jump on this train and it flies through the air, clips through mountains, and if you stay on it for long enough, it will literally take you out of bounds of the map. Now, we all know about Pier 69, but did you know that if you start the mission with a sniper rifle in your inventory, then the mission will just start as normal? But if you don't have one, Caesar will actually hand CJ a sniper, which is awesome detail. But also, if you manage to blow up boats before Ryder gets to them, he will for some reason just stand here on this island doing nothing.
What you say, player?
If you take a vehicle to the valet station in San Fierro, they will actually get in your car and deliver it down into the garage, waiting for you to return to pick it up later, which is pretty cool. Did you know that when you change radio stations, CJ will actually do an animation that shows him swapping the stations, playing around with the buttons, whatever. If you're driving a cool supercar or something high-end or luxury, NPCs will actually stop and stare at you. Now, this happens a lot more with the women in-game and probably has something to do with the sex appeal statistic, but it's a pretty cool addition to the game. Now, in Zero's RC shop, you can actually find trading cards and action figures that resemble previous Rockstar Games protagonists. But that's not all, you can also find manhunt figures and RC model vehicles that resemble vehicles found in the game, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So during the mission drive-by, it turns out that CJ actually cannot get a wanted level no matter what you do. So this is actually used by various people to enter other islands early in the game without getting a wanted level, and it allows the player to explore the map freely without any consequences. During the races with Woozy Moo and Catalina and Claude from GTA 3, we're led to believe that Catalina is in the car with Claude, which she should be, but there's a glitch in the game where for some reason it's Woozy with Catalina in the passenger seat. Despite Grove Street families being green in the final game, the original colour of them was going to be orange. There's a few things that suggest this to be the case. First of all, CJ can get a tattoo on his back which says Orange Grove Families. Another thing is that in beta screenshots, all of the characters are wearing different colour outfits, and the game's artwork also depicts a lot of orange, not green, as well as some graffiti that says Orange Grove Families that can be found in the sewer systems. It's believed that this was cut late into development, and these are just files left over. The video's far from over, but if you've made it this far in, you're probably enjoying it. Around 90% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed to my channel. I'd love for some of you to stick around. I upload tons of GTA content, so make sure you guys subscribe if you're enjoying so far. There's a cut mission in the game called Impounded. This mission would take place immediately after High Stakes Lowrider for Caesar and would begin with a cut phone call. Take a listen.
Now who's the loser?
Man, I guess I am, Holmes.
Oh, Caesar, sorry, man. I thought you was Kendall. We got this thing going on since we was kids.
That's okay, that's it. You drove good today.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, I called to invite you over. Your sister said we should hang out, get to know each other.
Okay. What you got planned?
Well, you want to see my garage? I got some beer.
Yeah, okay.
And bring a nice car, Holmes. I'll tune it up for you.
For sure. I'll see you later.
From here, CJ would go to Caesar's house and meet with Kendall, and that's when CJ's car gets towed away, and we actually have some of the audio from the cutscene, so take a listen to that.
Hey, where is it? What the f? I thought you said your ride was here.
Oh, it's been towed.
What? Oh my God. No.
Damn, what's the matter with this city? They always towing people's
From here, CJ and Caesar would go to the Los Santos Police Department and steal back his vehicle. It was intended to be a mission that introduced us to the now cut vehicle impound feature. There's another cut mission in the game that would have been given by Crash Officers Tenpenny and Pulaski around the same time as Burning Desire and Grey Imports. This one had CJ going to a building or a place in Los Santos where there was going to be a witness, but unfortunately the police get there on time before you, so then you have to pursue the police vehicle that he's being escorted in and destroy it, and that's pretty much how the mission went. Now, I'm sure many of us, when we were much younger playing GTA, wondered what the unusual N symbol was on the map, not realizing, obviously, it meant north. Just me being an idiot? Okay, well, as it turns out, if you did try and follow that symbol, if you head as far north as possible, the game begins to bug out and will break eventually if you go far enough. The official Brady Games strategy guide for GTA San Andreas actually features some interesting things. First of all, it has a map of all the adrenaline pills you can find across San Andreas, but adrenaline pills are not a feature in San Andreas. They were a feature in GTA 3 and Vice City. If you're not familiar with the adrenaline pills, it's those pickups you can get which slows time down. Alternatively, also, you can see screenshots in the game on the Brady Games strategy guide which shows the beta weapon icons, which looked really cartoonish and weird, and I'm glad that they changed them because these things look really ugly. It appears police officers know CJ by his name.
Give it up, CJ.
Fuck you, asshole.
We got you now, CJ. Mr. Johnson, you are under arrest. We got ourselves that Johnson kid. Hands behind your back, son.
You can enter, you can get haircuts, but if you look on the map, this barbershop is nowhere to be found, which is pretty unique in my opinion. While playing basketball on any of the courts, you can press caps lock and CJ will do a variety of ball tricks like spinning it on his finger, rolling it over his shoulders, and if you sprint towards the net and then press the shoot button, you will actually do a slam dunk. In Baco Beyond, you can find a unique one-of-a-kind tree that is leaning violently. We're not sure whether this was intended by the developers or whether this is just some kind of bug, but it just so turns out you can actually walk up the entire trunk of this thing and stand right at the top. There's a sign out in the desert which on one side appears to be circular, but if you go around the other side, it seems to break the matrix and becomes a square sign instead. There is an alternative dialogue in the mission Running Dog with Big Smoke, which was cut from the game that would have revealed his betrayal a lot earlier, or at least made it more obvious.
Let's go home. I gotta eat, man.
Okay, say, Smoke, what's going on with you and Tenpenny?
Who?
Tenpenny.
Man, I ain't never heard of him.
I saw him leaving your apartment.
Oh, is that his name?
Yeah, you know it is.
Man, it ain't nothing. He a buster. Likes to give people a hard time. You know that, Paul. But you know me. It takes more than a fool like him to bug me out.
The statue of Big Smoke found in the Crack Fortress is actually his beta model that can be seen in a variety of beta screenshots. But that isn't the only character who changed. As you can see, Ryder in the bottom of the screen looks totally different, and so does Sweet as well. None of the Crash missions pay the player any money, as CJ is primarily doing these missions due to blackmail. The total amount of money earned from all the Los Santos missions before the Green Saber is merely $1,900. Most of the missions, if not all of them, pay no rewards and only give the player respect. In total, across the entire game though, CJ can earn a grand total of $693,000, with $250,000 of this being paid for completing the end of the line. If you were to walk across the entire map from one end to the other, it would take over an hour to reach the other end. That's impressive considering the map is actually smaller than GTA 5's map. Denise, your girlfriend, can actually spoil the ending of the game for you by revealing that Big Smoke is involved in drugs, even if you're at the beginning of the game.
Hey, girl.
Chicken head asshole.
What? Denise.
Don't even think about sweet talking me, you no good crack pusher.
What? What you on about, girl?
I've heard the rumors about you Grove Street cluckers, about Big Smoke and all. I thought I'll give this boy a chance. But all my friends were right. Only some base-pushing asshole would treat a girl like
Now, wait a minute.
Panic call. We're over. Finished.
The game purposely slows your car down in certain areas of the map, like the Las Venturas Strip, in order to assist the game in rendering more objects and preventing the game from lagging. You will have a significantly higher top speed on a highway opposed to some of these heavily built up areas. The Transfender Vehicle Workshop in Las Venturas charges 20% more for vehicle modifications than any other garages in the game, reflecting the attitude of the city's business to overcharge their customers, considering it's based on gambling. So what's the most you can theoretically spend on one car in GTA San Andreas? Well, of course we're going to have to use this garage because they charge more money. Theoretically, you can spend $7,668 on one single vehicle. However, there's a special tuner's garage with only one location that can be found in San Fierro. The shop is available after completing zeroing in for the Wang Car's asset mission. The vehicles that can be customized here are really unique, and the only eligible cars are the Elegy, Flash, Jester, Stratum, Sultan, and Uranus. Considering the maximum amount of money you can have is 999 million, how many NPCs would you have to steal from in order to get this much money? Well, as it turns out, some NPCs drop a drastically higher amount of money than others. Some NPCs can drop merely a few dollars, while drug dealers can drop several thousand. If you were only going to visit the drug dealers and take their money, you'd still need to shoot 500,000 of them in order to get enough money. Hey, by the way, you're still watching. Congratulations, because you made it to the end of the video. But wait. Before you go, please do consider subscribing. It really helps me out, and I plan on making tons more GTA videos just like this. You know, GTA 3 or Vice City, then make sure you subscribe, and it would be nice to see some of you guys stick around. Adios.